So with that being said, and I feel like it's one of those things where, I feel like we're gonna talk about, the beautiful part of said flowers, when or roses, and there are thorns and weeds that come in gardens. So we'll speak about a little bit of that, I would say. But what are some of the, I guess the things that you love or the benefits of, like just this said culture? Even back then, what I'm saying? Because I feel like right now it's in a different stage. But just like, if you could put somebody on like why they should have watched it, or let's just say we're during that time, some richness from it, if you can provide.
I think
Well,
just for me, one of the things that I loved about watching specifically female battle rap, I think that I've always loved hip hop like in general, and at a certain point I just felt like I wasn't hearing super talented people in mainstream music. So it was really like refreshing to hear these rappers that they're just from around the way, they haven't like made it yet, but they're super talented, and just being able to listen to them be creative and put their stuff together, it was something I feel like I was really missing from music. So that's what I'd say.
me, one of Queen of the Rings' dopest appeal was, other than having Debo, who I feel is really for the ladies and putting them on, developing talent. They had Babs, who I was a fan of from making a band. The fact that she was a host with Vague, it provided something special. Like for me, I actually look forward to a lot of Queen of the Ring battles. And just seeing Vague and Babs' reaction during a lot of matches is something I look forward to. But one of the things that I liked the most about Queen of the Ring was that regardless of what your style was or swag, you could really come there and showcase your talent. Unlike the industry where it's like you had to be, a certain look or talk about certain things, felt like Queen of the Ring was a place where regardless of what your style or aim was, you could come there, and as long as you was dope, you could shine, whether you're just a lyrical pen or like jazz, a schoolgirl, or busting your gun like heart. So yeah.
And I noticed,
Everybody
yeah,
had a place.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, finish.
Everybody had a place at Queen of the Ring. And I feel like as long as you had the creativity and the talent, you could really be seen and take yourself far.
Gotcha. And I was gonna say, and I noticed that, you both keep mentioning, I don't think I've said the name, I think I may have, but you both keep kind of mentioning, Queen of the Ring. And, some would say you can't speak about female battle rap and not mention, them. It's almost like mentioning, fast food and not mentioning the Golden Arches. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get sued for the name, but the jingle, and the character. But when we speak of Queen of the Ring, because they had other leagues, and they do have other leagues or whatever. Um, they're such a huge part of said culture. For those who, because like I said, we're gonna do parts of the roses and parts of the thorns. Just give them their flowers right now while we speak, because I know, like I said, we just go ahead.
Even though you could see a female battle in other places, like when I saw Miss Strings versus Shice Raw, that was on a Pitts. It was some Baltimore league, but they weren't like as popular as say a URL, for example. And even with URL, they're a male battle league, the most popular male battle league, most respected. Queen of the Ring was the only league for women, like exclusively for women, which is why if you were a fan or you stumbled across a female battle, if you just subscribed to that page, or just liked it, naturally you would be in the know of all the female battles because that's where they went down. When Heart versus Hustle happened, that was like I believe the first female battle that was on a major card. And even though that battle was successful and very iconic, it still took URL, some time. before they started booking females on a regular. Because I believe the next female battle that we saw was Jazz and Hustle, if I'm correct. But that was like some years later. But yeah, Queen of the Ring was the place that you went to for female battles. That's why I became a big fan of the league.
Lou, you concur, or I got another one, another question.
Yeah, I mean, I concur. I think that as like he said, like as far as a place specifically for female battle rap, I mean, Queen of the Ring, whether other female battles were happening elsewhere, Queen of the Ring was where you went, not just to see now like your favorite battlers, but like he said, like they were developing new people. At least they were for a while. I don't know what's going on now. No, no
They
shots
still
at
are.
Queen of the Ring.
Mm.
Okay, all right. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Yeah,
yeah, like they were like constantly developing new talent, which kept feeding me what I was looking for. So like they did that.
Okay.